Let's all start it. So, Jack, let's start off with you because yours are always the most entertaining ones. I think you're the ones that always seem to, even though you seem to have written it at the back of a post-it note. It does seem that they are the most entertaining ones and come with quite interesting ideas. So, Jack, what's your review?
Well, as once again I wrote this review within 10 minutes of this show starting, not on the back of a post-it note on a WordPad document, I watched a film the other day called The Shelter.
The Shelter?
No, I'd never heard of it either.
Go on.
But it was on Sky Premiere and it had Julianne Moore in, and I like Julianne Moore, so I gave it a shot. This is a film. I randomly picked it at 12 o'clock, and I knew nothing about it. On further research, it's by the same guy who did Identity. You've seen that, I assume?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm. It's essentially the same movie, but with more of a supernatural twist to it. Other reviews have been saying that it's mundane and a by-the-numbers thriller. And although I did guess the ending, but I still liked it from start to finish. I mean, we had Julianne Moore, who plays our heroine, and she has proven in the past for films like Hannibal. She's very adept at doing this sort of role. She's playing a psychologist / amateur detective, as I suppose they go hand in hand.
They seem to do, don't they, nowadays?
They do. The job description goes much further than is planned. And she is matched with the most interesting case to date. John Rhys Meyers, of that guy who was in The Tudors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's the standout performer. He brings an array of accents with such ease. I was literally dumbstruck by how easily he changed it.
Okay.
But anyway, the film follows Miss Morple as she tries to discover why Meyers is a dissociative character state, which means through a phone call he can take on a different persona, and sometimes even believe he is wheelchair-bound. Odd, I know, but it actually gets really interesting.
Okay.
It's a ride which starts as a psychological thriller, and then through many references to God and voodoo, as those two generally like to mix from time to time, into this weird supernatural horror. And it was an easy switch to make. But I think like other films, and like Sunshine and the aforementioned Identity,
Yeah.
it does it well. Unfortunately, having seen Identity, you get flashbacks. It's what he did in his last film, and it's slightly annoying that he can't come up with a different story than a man has many personalities and people inside him.
By the way, we did kind of just spoil Identity for you if anyone has not seen it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go.
You literally just gave the twist in Identity.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Anyway, I do understand what you mean. So basically, it's a film that seems to just be a rehash of the same idea.
It is, but I still liked it because I didn't know it was by the guy who did Identity when I watched it. It was just supernatural horror starring Julianne Moore in my eyes. It went through that, and it looks well produced, and I won't call it a world beater, but it had very good, strong leading performances, and it makes it worth watching. I will add, though, that the kid is weird, and I hate that. I hate mainstream movies that have to have their children being the most weird, creepy out things in the world.
What is it with like psychological horrors and thrillers where the children act like no other children ever do?
I know, it's just like, if you've got things like Signs, you've got Hide and Seek, War of the Worlds, just all these films where the children are just absolute nutcases.
They're not even just nutcases. They don't act childish at all. You know, they act like they either act like adults or act like psychopaths.
Yeah, they act like
adult psychopaths.
But as a character reference, cannot remember the character name, but Zelda Rubinstein in fucking Poltergeist.
Oh yeah.
They all act like her. This house is clean.
That's really, really creepy.
I know. It always takes me out of a film when the child's creepy. I mean, one day there'll be a film which I'll watch and I'll go, my God, the kids aren't weird in this film. But it won't happen if the next horror movie I'm going to watch is anything to go by.
What's the next horror film you're going to be watching?
It's called The Children. Kids, I've seen a bit of it, like late at night one night, but I had to take it off because it was one of those films. If Have you ever watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre while your parents were asleep upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. The volume button is an annoyance during that, because if you want to hear dialogue, you've got to turn it up. Unfortunately, 10 seconds after dialogue appears, screaming happens. That's 10 times louder than the rest of the film. So you have to scramble for the remote again and be like, shit.
It's really bad, isn't it? I mean, the only way you can ever get away with that is if two things. Your parents are very heavy sleepers, or two, you have to do it entirely through headphones. But even then, you might actually deafen yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have you're speaking, this seems to be fine. Suddenly the scream happens and blood's oodling out of your ears.
On that though, can I just point out, original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not that good. Move on.
We'll move on from that. Okay, so overall...
For you, Jake.
Oh, God. If he was here, he would smack you.
He probably would, yeah, because, his awful movie taste just kind of bounces off.
I wouldn't call it awful movie taste, but he's very into his old school horror movies, so...
I like my old school horror movies, but some of them, the original Hills That Have Eyes,
yeah.
Brilliant film.
Brilliant movie, rubbish ending.
I know, that baby deserved so much more.
Yeah. Anyway, overall, would you even though you've told some of most of the flaws, would you still recommend this movie for like a watch, maybe like a casual watch?
Oh, indeed. I told my friends about it. So after I said, if you're looking to say just get a little bit interested and waste some time, that's a brilliant movie. Oh. But don't think too much into it. Yeah, I wouldn't say you watching it will destroy you, but it won't enlighten you to the heavens either.
Oh, cool. All right, awesome. Thanks for that. All right.